Hey all, this is Val here with another Dungeon Hunter Champions video. In today's video, we're going to talk about the Blitzkrieg bot. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to talk about Krieg, the Fire Scan Warlord. Alright guys, as you know, I am in the quest to have fun. But besides the quest to have fun, I'm also on the quest to build the vampire. I am on the late show. It's like, man, I got to get my sugar honey iced tea together. Like, what is this nonsense? But yeah, Val's behind. So he's leveling fodder, and since he's leveling it, why not play with it? See how it works. Alright guys, so you know how we do reviews here. Let's move on over to skills. Alright, his auto attack skill, Bloodlust, swings his saw arm attacking nearby enemies. If the primary target has the ongoing damage debuff, Scan Warlord gains the haste buff and lowers the cooldown of Brutal Charge. Bonus damage based on max HP. Now, so here we see a theme. It looks like we can use attack speed. Is it going to be that great? Because really, we're going to constantly gain a haste buff if he's dropping ongoing damage. And it's like, not really. I mean, but you could. I mean, I don't know why, but you could. Then you look at it, you've got bonus damage based on max HP. In my testing, now I haven't done it since patch. I don't believe anything has changed. If I'm wrong, please post it in the comments down below. But I don't believe they changed the scaling on this, and since we don't have the details button, we can't actually check. But in my experience, it's never been worth building for the bonus damage. Typically, it's always better just to stack more attack than to actually chase the bonus damage stat. So right now, really, we're looking at Mortal because Mortal is my go-to for damage units, even though this guy isn't a damage dealer. However, today we're actually going to be testing him as one and as a farmer. Having more options for farmers is always a good idea. So with that, Vampire becomes a valid option with him to give him sustain. Alright, let's move on to the active skill 1, Meat Grinder. Spins his saw around him, damages nearby enemies, and inflicts ongoing damage. If an affected enemy already has the ongoing damage debuff, it slows in addition to its other effects. Now, this is an AoE OGD. This is really good because unlike Casey's, he can apply this multiple times to multiple enemies. AoE applies slow. And slow really, at least in non-PvP instances, really doesn't have a use. I mean, I can't think of a great one for slow. But if you can, please let me know. So we're still looking at Vampire or Mortal because we do want to use him as a farmer. His second active skill, Brutal Charge, charges in a direction, pinning the first champion struck and damaging other enemies. When the charge ends, damages the pinned enemy and marks nearby enemies. If a pinned enemy is slammed into a wall, it stuns the enemy. Bonus damage based on max HP. Again, here, we're not really talking about Adept with this. You could definitely go Adept to maximize this, but really, I don't see the use. We're still talking about Mortal Vampire here because we want to do damage or we want to have sustain for farming, because that's just particularly how I'm building him for this video. Now, the good news is this ability is amazeballs in 5v5. Like, I mean, if you play Scan Warlord right, this guy is a force to be reckoned with. I mean, he is a really, really good in 5v5. You have a lot of walls you can slam people into. If they're grouped, you're going to mark them all and let your Ink Ninja or whoever you're running with go in and do some major AoE damage because he marks everyone. So it's just really good. Really good in 5v5. And it's decent in PvP as well. His third active skill, Gorge, drains the essence of nearby enemies, damages enemies, and heals for 70% of the damage dealt. Damage and healing is increased for each stack of ongoing damage on an enemy. So really, to apply OGD, you only have this one, and unfortunately, you can't stack it, because if they already have it, he actually will drop. Actually, you know what? Let's reread this. Let's reread this, because I think I might have been wrong. Spins his saw around him, damages nearby enemies, and inflicts ongoing damage. If an affected enemy already has the ongoing damage debuff, it slows in addition to its other effects. So Val was wrong. So you're going to get both. So that changes it. Adept could be used with this, so that way you can get this up, have it more often, and build stacks of OGD. That could even work for farming, because the reason why is you're going to go in, right? You're going to do this a bunch of times. It's going to happen a lot. And then you have your heal here for multiple stacks of OGD. So not only going to do more damage, which is going to help you clear faster, but you're also going to be able to heal for more, and you're going to be able to heal for more often. So if you did go Adept, I'm thinking it'd be standard attack bill, attack, crit damage, attack. You want to look for attack and crit rate substats to get all your crit there. As always, if you can't get all your crit rate and substats, then go attack, crit rate, attack, and then look for crit damage substats. So this would actually work. Yes. So Val misunderstood active skill 1. I apologize, guys. I apologize. All right. So Adept, Vampire, and Mortal are really the sets you have. I'm thinking I really like Adept. I wish I had more Adept pieces to build them. That was the first piece that I looked for. But unfortunately, I did not feel like spending the cost to strip someone and then to equip him and then to strip him again and to put the gear back onto the original unit, because I will not be keeping him. He will be going as fodder for the Fire Vampire, so I'll need to remove his gear. So I had to consider that cost. All right, lastly, his synergy trait is increases max HP of ally fire champions by 33%. So really you have 3 valid builds: Mortal, you've got Vampire, and you've got Adept. Brutal could work as well, but you really don't capitalize on a lot of the effects. You're not reducing any skill cooldowns, and currently there is no gear that helps reduce that. And you do want to spam Meat Grinder and Gorge, especially if you're using him as a farmer, so that way he has some sustain. Now let's take a look at his stats. These aren't the greatest stats because I couldn't put on the greatest gear. You guys have known, I've said this a million times, I am in a really bad gear droughtage. I am farming SW. For those that say, Val, you're not farming, I'm farming it every day, but I'm getting the crappiest drops. I'm not getting anything worth keeping. All I'm getting is money, which is good since we have a money event, but it's not really helping me progress my characters. I think really what it's going to come down for me is I'll just have to start using Laundry Day to gear units I want to use for that month, basically. Right, so I'm going to use different team comps every month, and then I'll just strip units and put gear on other ones, right? And then I won't use the stripped unit for that month because, I mean, I'm just not getting the drops. I don't know what else to do. But anyway, we got 28k HP here. We got 860-ish defense, 100% crit, 36% resistance, 800 attack. I'm totally not happy with attack or attack speed. 118% crit rate. We're almost to 150, but not quite. Kind of far away, 32% away. And then accuracy we have at 90%. That, of course, is for the OGD. I can get that easily if I plus 15 his bracer. Let's take a look here. I went attack, crit rate because I couldn't get enough crit rate in substats. And then accuracy to help the OGD stick because I do want to live. And his third is what's going to help me live. But for his third to be effective, I need to land his OGD. I also went Mortal Precision. Again, Precision for that extra bit of accuracy. Here are the stats. If I'm going too fast, go ahead and pause the video to take a look. All right, so there he is. Let's go ahead and jump right into the action. Now, something with him that's going to be different. So in previous farmer videos, I assumed everyone is a blade master for a farmer. That is incorrect. So I gave you guys bad information on that. I'm sorry. I do believe I did mention in the farmer video that there are other options, but I didn't give them to you. So calling back on that information, I remembered that Donald Dump had told me he prefers 2-3 when he was using his Spearman, and his Spearman was able at 5-star to complete it on Legend, albeit I believe he said it was like a 47, or no, what's it, 47? It was like 56, 57 clear time, if I remember correctly, Donald. If I got it wrong, go ahead and drop a comment below. I apologize for that if I did. So I went with his suggestion because this is not a Blade Master. He's obviously not going to be able to get the Scorpion down. So I took Donald Dump's recommendation and I head over to board 2-3 Legend to see if Krieg can get the job done. As you can see, obviously I'm leveling the fodder for Fire Vamp here. I don't have a Fire Spearman, so that's why you see the Fire Ranger and the Water Murloc. I mean, I don't know what the hell the thing is, but it looks like a Murloc to me. Okay, so here we go. We're on auto. Let's see how this bad boy does. Yeah, he hits decently. I mean, this is Legend, so we're still going to get great XP. He really needs move speed, though. I feel like, because the map is, like, longer, obviously. Yeah, I mean, he's clearing them. I like the hits. I mean, he's dishing out good numbers for what it is, right? And really, there's no way those other dudes are doing any kind of damage. I mean, they have no gear on them or nothing. It's just really him. So we're at 36 seconds. Not the fastest, obviously. But his heal is super nice. He healed for quite a bit. This is why I 100% believe that we definitely could drop no problems in dropping Adept on this guy. So this went really well. He is soloing it, and this is a Legend map. All right, guys. This guy can farm. This guy, I'm thinking with the right gear, okay? With the right gear, he is going to be a very efficient farmer. I think, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, okay, everyone throw your BMs away. It's not what I'm saying. Okay, I'm saying that he performed well with subpar gear. So what does that mean for you at home? That means if you have better gear, he's actually going to farm faster and be a better unit for you than what you see for me right here, okay? So that's what that means. That doesn't mean start tossing your BMs. Would I use him over Crude? Based off of what I just saw, yes, I would definitely use him over Crude. Now, to be fair, I didn't try Crude in 2-3. Maybe someone has, and they're like, oh, Val, dude, I'm sorry, but this one you got wrong. My crew currently is not geared, and again, if you see, I'm broke, so I can't afford to strip someone and then test them out here to give you guys a good comparison. So keep that in mind. If you do have a 5-star crew that you never leveled, and you had this guy, you saw this video and thought, oh, Val, I'll build him, test out your crew first, all right? Just test him out, see how he does here, compare it to my times, look at the gear, see if you have around the same stats. If your crew is slower and you realize the gear you have on your crew would better be on him and you would like to get my clear times, then definitely switch over. But don't do that before you test yours out and take a look at the gear and also the look at the stats on the unit I'm using. So that way you have a very accurate comparison. There's the stun. He didn't mark that time or it would go a lot quicker. There's the mark. Yeah, I really think Adept would be good on this guy. I'm liking him as a farmer. Now, it is a 52-second farm, but if you don't have a Blade Master, I mean, what are you going to do? Like, this will work. This is not a bad option. I really like him as a farmer. I think he does well in Legend Stage 2-3. All right, let's back out of here. And just for grins, we're going to pull him into SW10. Now, we're going to run him the same way, and I think the team should still be set up the same. That we ran Dino Kid. Awesome. Totally farmable team. And we can actually look at Dino Kid's comparison to him. If we remember correctly, Dino Kid did about, what, 235, 250K? If I remember. Let's see what Krieg can do. All right, Krieg, do your thing, man. Do your thing. All right, let's target him. Let's target him. Let's see him. I mean, he hits very decently. And the good news here is we do have Malice, who's also going to drop OGD, which means his hit should be even bigger. I'm happy so far. I mean, it seems if you notice, his numbers are looking bigger than they looked when we were farming. And that, again, is going to be because Malice is also helping him stack OGD. I believe he's wave clearing faster than Dino Kid did as well. It appears that way. It does appear that way. Because what is this? Oh, man, we didn't look at it before the cutscene. So around 40, what, 42, 43 seconds? I believe Dino Kid was a 2-minute or a minute 45 clear, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see here what this ends up being. We're not getting a lot. Okay, there's finally 2 stacks. At max, we should be able to get about 3 stacks. Maybe even 4, depending on if Malice overlaps. So far, he hasn't. We've only gotten just the minimum. There, it's 4 for a brief second. A brief second. Technically, we should be able to get 5, because 3 from the combo together, you know, him and Malice. And then 3 from them doing it once. And then Malice's OGD is up by then, so he can drop the 4 and 5 on him. So far, this is slightly faster. Slightly faster than Dino Kid. So Dino Kid was 1:45. This one is, let's see, 1:42. And you got to consider we did, Zinnia did derp the shield. Not the invulnerability, but the shield that heals. So that didn't go down nearly fast enough towards the end. And around the same damage. So what's making the difference, guys? You're like, but Val, you know, Dino Kid did decently. The difference is going to be the OGD. OGD is honestly just that good in long fights. I mean, it really is. Unfortunately, Dino Kid doesn't have it. So he's not going to see the kind of numbers that he does. Because, again, he doesn't really have to do direct damage. He can just drop his OGD and call it a day. That's all he has to do. Plus, he has AoE abilities, whereas Dino Kid does. But his are more mobile. If I remember correctly, they should be. You know what? Correct me if I'm wrong on that AoE thing. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not positive on that one. I believe his are more mobile because he can do the whirlwind and spin around, whereas Dino Kid is rooted. So that way, this means that as waves are coming at him, he can kill one, and then like say there's a guy on the other side, he can whirlwind into that to keep the damage going. Whereas Dino Kid shoots it, he's stationary, and if more is over there, he can't AoE that. He has to go over it and start hitting him. So I believe that's the difference. But damage is about the same. And this guy would actually end up being stronger in longer fights, whereas Dino Kid would be stronger in shorter fights. So if you're looking for a direct damage team, and I think, you know, going forward, guys, you should start looking at making direct damage teams over OGD teams. But, you know, just how I feel. Just how I feel. Because, you know, I like direct damage. Direct damage is how a lot of things are getting done on the high end lately. So you look at speed SW10 teams, speed ED10 teams. A lot of them are direct damage. There are some OGD ones that use siege towers and snakes to really stack OGD quickly. Those work as well. But direct damage teams, I think they're going to be strong. And they should be if you really think about it. But I mean, just a thought. Just a thought. You know, kind of think about that in the back of your mind. And then also, so what that means is that Dino Kid would be better, right? Because Dino Kid is going to do more direct damage. He's going to hit harder right off the bat versus where the Scan Warlord is going to be a warm-up with his OGD. Because as you saw, as Malice was helping him stack OGD, he was hitting harder. So there you go. I'm happy with him either way. I would build him and use him in either SW10 or as a farmer if I didn't have my Blade Master, but I do because in the end, he is not going to be better than a Blade Master in any of those scenarios. But otherwise, he's a good unit. If you have him, he is worth building. He will help you progress through the game. If you happen to pull a Blade Master or a better farmer, then you would probably sideline this guy unless you're looking to stack like OGD because you're going into like Ascended 11, which is a green stage, which this guy could perform good in. He really could. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. If you learned something, found the video helpful, please go ahead and drop a comment down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe and notification button so that way you know when I have a new video coming out. Thank you all for watching, and as always, all you dudes and dudettes out there, stay frosty.